Aloha, everybody, and welcome back to part 3 of Sonic Boom Fire and Ice. We are still going through the Kodiak Frontier, and if we take the right pathway, we're going to stumble upon Tails and his hovercraft. And this is a new gameplay element introduced to the Sanzaru Sonic Boom games, and now we have hovercraft levels. Basically, you're going to be playing as Tails, you're going to be piloting through this icy river stream, and on the top right is our energy meter. Simply driving will drain the energy meter, running into icebergs, running into bombs will drain it even further, and the only way to refill it is to pick up a whole bunch of purple clocks that are scattered along the way. And we just want to get to the end as quickly as possible. You can speed up the hovercraft by holding the R button. In fact, I'm holding onto the R button the entire time in order to be as fast as I possibly can. And this hovercraft has machine gun bullets, so that sometimes you'll be approaching an iceberg, but if you shoot it enough as you're approaching, you can totally destroy that iceberg, no problem. And yeah, a lot shorter than the tunnel levels. It's pretty simple. Just dodge the icebergs. Make sure you don't get into the whirlpools. Make sure you're definitely picking up those clocks for sure, because you're going to need all the time you can get. And you'll get yourself a trading card as well as some Ragnium. Again, completely optional. You do not need to play it.
Grab that guy before he turns back into a destructive pile of random junk. What?
There you are, you diminutive disappointment. Always screwing up. First, you couldn't collect the rare Ragnium mineral. Then you screwed up my Eggbot races. Now, this island. You have one job now. Protect the fissures. How hard can that be? Keep them open. Now get back to work. Sonic! Just the little blue pest I was looking for.
That is just annoyingly loud. I can't even understand what... Huh? Whoa, no fair! My eyes were closed because loudness.
Fine, fine. I'll turn off the PA. Now, can you understand me? Where's the blasted... Ah, there it is.
You know I'm just gonna bust out of this rig and wreck whatever your dumb plan is, Egg Breath.
The dumb plan is a race. One you can't win. To finally show the world that you're not the fastest thing alive. You'll be a laughingstock. A has-been. You'll be so embarrassed, you'll have to leave town. And it's not a dumb plan. It's really quite ingenious.
Yeah, a race? I can race in my sleep.
Snore away, has been. Once everyone loses respect for you, you'll never want to get out of that bed again. Believe me, I know what that's like.
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
Wait until you see the new Ragnium-powered tech I'm going to use to make you the world's biggest loser. That's impressive.
Alrighty, folks, it's time to go to the races. In the last game, Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal, we would actually get into a whole bunch of rival races with Styx the Badger, Shadow the Hedgehog, Metal Sonic, and they were actually some of the best parts of that game, as you were just racing those characters really, really fast, going from point A to point B, and it was super satisfying. Oh, and by the way, Shadow the Hedgehog, Metal Sonic, they are not in this game at all. I can't put Shadow the Hedgehog in one of my thumbnails for the YouTube clicks. I'll get over it. So in order to replace those rival races, we now have the robot races. Every now and then, whenever you're going through a world, Dr. Eggman will grab Sonic, and he will take him to his race arena, and you'll challenge one of his many robots that are being powered by his Ragnium. And these races are laps. It's not just going from point A to point B. You actually have to go through the same area 3 times, so you'll actually get familiar with the track, and you'll actually get better as you play it with each single lap, which is a different experience. And in order to complete these stages, all you really need to do is beat them in a certain time limit, as well as collect every single ring on the racetrack, which I did in the very first lap, so I don't have to worry about that. But you're always going to be Sonic when you're playing through these stages, and the great thing about that is that Sonic has his awesome air dash, and oh my god, I love the air dash in Sonic Boom Fire and Ice. I love just, like, hitting a spring, and then when I'm at the top of my jump, I can just immediately propel Sonic forward by pushing the dash button, and it is so satisfying to get shortcuts or bursts of speed by doing that, and it's something that makes Sonic so fun to play compared to the other 4 characters with this game. So, yeah, these races are really, really fun. I like the fact that they're actually laps now, so that it's not like you just get blindsided by level design and then you just fail the race. You can actually keep doing the track and going through lap 2, lap 3, and then you're familiar with how the track is so that you can actually get better at it and actually win the race. And it gets harder as the game goes on. That first race is really easy. I was like 29 seconds early for the time limit. I beat the robot. He never really caught up to me at all, but as the game goes on, we'll see more of that. I've made it to Tails Plain, which means I can now go to Seaside Island, or I can go to Thunder Island. And Thunder Island is another extension of the robot races, because Sonic Boom Fire and Ice actually has a multiplayer aspect to it that is very different from Shattered Crystal. Now you can actually partake in races with actual real people, and you can challenge them online. And that might be something I do later in an extra video or something. But with all the Ragnium you're collecting, you can buy a Tails bot, an Amy bot, and Knuckles bot, and you can get a whole bunch of upgrades for those robots so that they're a lot better during the races and whatnot. I'm not going to spend an inch of Ragnium on any of this stuff. I'm not going to buy Tails bot. I think that's the only thing I could buy there, just Tails bot, but yeah, we got bot racing, and it's online multiplayer. You can host the race, join a race, and as you go through the game, you're going to be unlocking a whole bunch of robots to play around with. So it's not just Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, or Amy. You start off with a Sonic bot, but I actually got a Burn bot for beating that first stage, and so I can actually play as that character. Burn bot is actually a reference to the TV show. In fact, it's a reference to the pilot episode of Sonic Boom, because one of the very first things that happens in the series is that Sonic faces off with Eggman's Burn bot, and then he questions why it's called Burn bot, because it's a robot with big giant claws, and it doesn't have a flamethrower at all. Well, you should have called it Claw bot. It's got claws! Very, very sharp and dangerous claws! Ah. Okay, Eggman. And that's actually a thing I like about the plot. The only reason Eggman is collecting Ragnium, it's not for, like, creating sentinels to destroy all life on the planet or anything. It's nothing quite as insidious. He just wants to collect Ragnium so that he can power up all of his robots, so that he can make super fast bot racers, so that he can humiliate Sonic by beating him in a race. That's the plot of Sonic Boom Fire and Ice. And he's inadvertently destroying the planet by creating these fissures, but he doesn't realize that, because again, Eggman's the type of character who's always tampering with stuff that's far beyond his control. Whether it's Chaos, whether it's Dark Gaia, whether it's Mephiles, or, you know, just whatever. So it's very consistent with, like, the traditional Eggman, but it also fits the comedic tone of the TV show. Because Sonic Boom doesn't really take its stuff too seriously. All Eggman's trying to do is beat Sonic in a race. He doesn't care about destroying all life or something insidious. I mean, he's still a villain in the show as well, but, you know. It just fits the tone of the show, is all I'm saying. So anyway, folks, we're done with the Kodiak Frontier. We've made it to Seaside Island, and this level's very much like the typical first level stuff we would have seen in Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal. Lots of palm trees, lots of beaches, very nice and friendly, very Sonic Boom, because this is what we always see with Sonic Boom. And yeah, we're just collecting more stuff with Tails. I don't know if you noticed this, by the way. Did you see what Tails bounced on? He didn't bounce on a bounce pad. He bounced on a spring. A red spring. Red spring. There are yellow springs. They are springs again. By the way, there's a coil. I can't get it because I need Styx' boomerang, and I haven't unlocked Styx yet. But, yeah, in Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, bounce pads! In Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal, bounce pads! Whoa, bounce pads! And then with Sonic Boom Fire and Ice 2 years later in 2016, I guess someone at Sanzaru told them about how annoying bounce pads were in Rise of Lyric, so they got the idea to replace bounce pads completely with actual springs from the traditional games. So yeah, we don't have bounce pads, which means we can't hear any more of
Bounce pad! Bounce pad! Bounce pad! Bounce pad!
Rings!
Bounce
Rings!
pad! Rings!
No.
Bounce pad!
But anyway, folks, this is Tails' new ability. And something I didn't mention before is that in Shattered Crystal, he had a whole bunch of bombs that he would throw at people. When you were flying or hovering, he would drop bombs downwards, and he just threw bombs, right? In Fire and Ice, he has replaced his bombs with a laser gun. You can use it while standing on the ground, you can use it while jumping in the air, and you can actually aim it while standing on the ground. So if there's robots climbing on the ceiling, climbing on the wall, you can actually go for a precise shot and follow with the laser and then let go of the X button in order to blast something on the wall, which is really fun. But there's also puzzles, as you saw, that involve a whole bunch of mirror blocks. So you actually need to aim the lasers at the mirrors and then have them bounce off until they hit one of the silver doors, one of the silver blocks, so that you can destroy it and move on with your day. But it makes Tails a lot better with that attack. The bombs were fine, but they weren't like... You couldn't hit every single enemy you wanted to hit. You had to have a very specific location in order to throw those bombs on guys. With this game, at least if there's something on the ceiling, you can aim at the ceiling. If there's something on the wall, you can aim at the wall. So it's pretty fun giving Tails a laser gun this time around. It's a much better weapon than the bombs he had last time. Again, every character still has a melee attack. Amy uses her hammer. Sonic has a spin dash. Knuckles will punch stuff. Styx will use her boomerang. And so if you're ever up close and personal with a robot and you don't want to just homing attack it, which is always a good option, you can use the melee attack in order to get rid of them fine and dandy. Booyah. Booyah. Just hit things with that hammer, Amy. I remember someone in the comments mentioned that when you push the X button in the air with Amy, she can actually do this little spin attack that will actually bounce off of enemies, so you can bounce from one enemy to the other. And yeah, I guess that's kinda useful, but again, every single character in the game has a homing attack. Tails has a homing attack, Knuckles has a homing attack, Styx has a homing attack, and of course, Amy has a homing attack. I don't really feel the need to bounce on enemies with a jump when I could just homing attack them and go through the level much quicker, so I still don't think Amy has the best ability ever. It's fine, you know, I just wish like the pillars were always like upside down instead of downside up. I wish they didn't go down, I wish they went up. So you were just moving a lot quicker. Like you hit it, it goes up, and you can pass through. Hit it, goes up, you pass through, just so it was a lot quicker of an experience. But again, that's really nitpicking, because Sonic Boom Fire and Ice is still a really satisfying game to play, regardless of what I think of Amy's gameplay. They made so many improvements, Sanzaru did, that the level design is just so much better, and the speed is really, really good, and the levels never overstay their welcome. And it's real good, it's real good. I like playing this, man, I like playing this. Because we're on Seaside Island, we have access to all of the characters' houses again, and that means we have a whole bunch of shop and upgrade mechanics, just like with Shattered Crystal. Tails' workshop I can't go into right now because I have to use Knuckles at Tails' house. I guess Knuckles doesn't have a house in Seaside Island, so he just crashes at Tails, and then when I get Knuckles, I can go back to Tails, and then we can take advantage of the trading card system. But, we'll be seeing more of that stuff in the next part, don't you worry. We'll be seeing the other characters' houses as we go on. For now, we have another submarine part, which again, pretty simple, exactly the same as it was in Shattered Crystal. Just touch the bottom screen to activate the sonar, collect the trading card pieces at the end, and, you're good as gold. And they make these levels so much shorter than they were in Shattered Crystal that I'm done. It was only 28 seconds, but I beat it. I got myself a trading card. Again, completely optional. You don't need to play it. Anyway, folks, come back for more Seaside goodness in Part 4.